Right, let's do a quick little sound check. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Look at Will with that fancy little cheer icon over there. It's because Will is in a Pip Chips. Cool. Thank you guys. Hey, yours is like a cool color. Ernest is like a gold color for me, and then a Will's like this green color that matches his icon. Right, so I just realized. So in watching you guys, talk back and forth on the the Discord channel, I realized that I am fast getting over the like news announcements and stuff. I'm so stuck now. I guess the latest rumor, I guess, I don't know if you guys know this or not. There is a Matrix 4 coming out, and it's supposed to be darker, right? It's supposed to be darker, and now they're saying that Neo or John Wick is actually Neo. That there is potentially a connection. I was like, what? So I've been like stuck on like fan conspiracy theory at this point about John Wick is Neo, and how they're all coming back to life. So that's where I've progressed to. It's only taken 4 days, and now I am into movie culture. So yeah, that's where we are. Anyway, looking at the charts for the day. Again, some nice movers. Some big movers earlier today. They weren't as crazy, although again, we're seeing dollar strength yet again. Looking at the euro dollar, again down. When I made the comment last night about I could see 107 is kind of where I'm looking at. Hey, 107. Yeah, I didn't mean like in the next day. And I keep saying that. I made the comment about oil, and that thing obviously came down and crashed as well. When I made the 107 comment, I was like, yeah, maybe Friday, maybe going into next week. And again, where are we at right now? What, 106.68? So yeah, come on parity, baby, come on parity. I'm going to say it, and if we can get the parity tomorrow, that would be awesome. But I don't think we're getting 700 points worth of movement that quickly. But yeah, bring on parity. That would be incredible. I would love to see that. There's been a few times where it's been close, but I think that would be amazing. I would love to see parity in there. But you can see the pound dollar, not so much. It's only up 12 for the day. Again, nothing really crazy here. Dollar yen, you're seeing up 220. So again, there's that dollar strength coming back in. Dollar SWIFT up 147. Dollar CAD down a bit, but we kind of expected that. We were up 400 something points yesterday. So you kind of expected somewhat of a retracement in that one. You just can't can't have bad CAD news every day. But you did expect that one. Aussie, look at that. 121 finally got a little bit of a bounce. And again, yesterday was a pretty bad day for the Aussie. These two were just basically straight down. So it is good, to get a bit of a reprieve here. It's great for going into the last day of the trading week. And the reason why is because, again, if this is the bottom, that means next week it's given us some type of, painted demand level. When we do have a painted demand level, that gives us a little bit of an ability to start to actually take in some long trades. So it's always great when you see some type of a bottom put in. So very happy about that one. I'm pretty excited about that. Actually, we're up 120 today. Euro pound, you can see again, that is also retracing. Remember, that thing was like skyrocketing it up. We were talking about being up there inside of demand levels. I'm sorry, up in the supply levels. And that's exactly what happened. Not only did it hit those levels, but it had quite a big rocket kind of back to the downside. And then again, pound yen was down, 460 last night, I guess is what we were talking about. And now we're up 263. Now, again, is 263 past the ATR? Not really, right? It's right about where the ATR is right now. But a big, big reversal from yesterday. And again, that's what we mentioned and that's what we talked about. Seeing these big swings, one day up, one day down, and kind of back and forth. So parabolic retracements everywhere. Everybody's got one. All right, looking at the news today, again, there was a lot of red news up here, a lot of speeches, right? A lot of assessments. Again, Swiss basically stayed at where it was. Philly Fed manufacturing was lower than expected. Again, we've been seeing that across the board. Unemployment claims were about where I expected. I figured they would be worse than what the forecast was, and that was about where I thought it would be. I figured between 280 and like 320-ish in that range, but I was assuming we'd be probably still under 300. I didn't think it was quite that bad yet. The next reading we get for this will obviously be worse. And then we had the Fed announcement coming in, and then we had, obviously the bank information from the pound, and you can see obviously there was a bit of a cut there from 0.25 to 0.10. Again, it is what it is. There's not that much in there, but again, at least it's something. And then obviously Trump speaking, and then Governor Bailey speaking. So it's been a day full of news, and that's just the environment we live in. It's going to be news, and not even so much the the economic news right now. I think everything is based on what the response is going to be and how we're, what are we going to do now versus, COVID-19. So I think that's really kind of that's really the main focus of all the markets right now is what's going to happen there. So going into tomorrow, the only listed news that is showing anything of importance is the Canadian retail sales numbers, both core and retail. Um, Obviously, do you guys think Trump's going to talk tomorrow? Yeah, obviously there's going to be some type of news announcement of what's happening, what's new, what's coming down the pipe. Today they mentioned, drugs that are given for rheumatoid arthritis are actually showing very good promise in speeding up the duration of sickness. And again, that's kind of, I mean, honestly, that's, besides the actual vaccine itself, which again, the FDA is going to drag their feet on. They, said it today that we need to, we're going to put it through full trials. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure you could start giving it to people and, you know, as long as it's, somewhat safe, I think people will be okay. Um, but again, having drugs that are already approved, I think, is great. Anything that speeds up the duration, like think about like Tamiflu as a drug. I don't know if you guys have ever had the flu and taken Tamiflu. If you take it within the first 24 hours of getting the symptoms, what it does is it speeds it up. It's a significant amount of reduction. It lessens the symptoms, and it's great. I mean, people are going to get it. You're never going to be able to prevent those things, but if you could speed the symptoms up and reduce them, I mean, heck, think about it. Hey, listen, I got the coronavirus. I got to stay home for a week. I'm going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's it. I'm not going to die, and I'm going to be good. Pretty sure everybody would be like, yep, I'm cool with that. No problem. Not the end of the world. That would be great if we could get into that situation. And then obviously, the people that get extremely sick, then they are taking the beds at that point. But hey, if we have something in there and in the arsenal to fight it and put it down, then hey, let's use it. Let's not worry about, going through full trials and everything else. So I think the vaccine will be here. The FDA guys like, yeah, it'll take a year to go through full trials. I'm like, this is one of those things that if you have healthy volunteers, you don't need a full trial of it. I mean, for longer safety experiences, sure, but under emergency powers, you can improve it much, much faster. And we're going to know pretty quick, in this environment, if everybody's going to get it, it's as contagious as everybody is saying. You're going to know real quick whether it works or if it doesn't work. Okay. So yeah, we don't need to take 3 years and go through the normal process with it. We have the perfect environment. Normally, and again, one of the biggest things, again, being in pharmaceuticals, I know this, one of the things that takes a very long time typically is recruitment. Getting the right people inside of studies so you can get the correct data. Obviously, with as many people as are going to be affected, again, we have the patient population right now to do an amazing large base study, right? As well as any feedback data after the fact. So it's actually a better situation or better setting than a traditional trial would be. And then again, obviously you have to scan. You do these other things. I mean, this one's pretty easy. You either get it or you don't get it. Does the virus work? Does the virus not work? And then what type of adverse effects that people get to it. So I don't know. I've dealt, I've had some experiences with FDA in the past, and I don't know. They're sometimes they lock things down when they don't need to be, and it's good that a lot of the regulations have been removed. Hopefully, they don't drag their feet too long, and again, their delay. Also, I was very excited. Did you guys? I don't know when the actual passing of it went through, but the Compassion Medicine Act or bill or whatever the heck it's called, the right to choose or the right to try, I guess is what it's called, has been pushed through. Absolutely think it's amazing. We should have always had this, and the fact that it hasn't been here until now is just boggles my mind. I lost my dad to cancer, and then within 6 months, there was a drug being put out for the same exact drug or the same exact type of cancer that my dad died of that was extending lives 6 and 8 months further. That they stopped the trials early because it was working so well. It's like, hey, you know what? My dad could have been in that trial had he had this bill. So I'm glad that that's out there, that people have the right to try with, extremely sick and terminally ill patients. So that is definitely one plus that came out of today, that has gotten passed and going forward. Absolutely amazing step forward. So besides this CAD news, everything is going to be coronavirus based tomorrow. Looking at the news today, again, a lot of the stuff doesn't necessarily matter. Bills are getting passed. We're signing some things. This is being produced. But I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter how great this number is when they say, hey, listen, we just found an extra 1 million masks. That'll move the market more than anything that we see tomorrow in economic numbers. Well, looking at the hottest news, Trump says, more help is on the way for virus relief. And every day we're going to see it. One of the things that I think a lot of people are not realizing right now is basically for the next week, 2 weeks even, every single day there's going to be another spike. Why? Because we have the testing supplies to test people. Well, it's not like the virus is moving at a faster speed. We just have the testing, capabilities at this point.
I've never really in the past been a big Andrew Cuomo person. He had a great speech this morning. I thought it was absolutely amazing, very calm, very matter of the fact, and just kind of said what it was. He's like, some of the terms that people are using, the fear and the panic are worse than the actual virus. And I agree wholeheartedly with him at this point. And he said, we're going to lose some people, but it's following the trajectory that we assumed that it was going to. It's following the path. We're taking the steps of everything we need to do. Do we have enough? No, but we know how to, we know what to do. And I thought that was great. It was very, very reassuring and, very calming. So again, never really heard him speak in the past, never really given much credibility to him. But, for being a guy that's in charge in New York, I think it's great. He's like, he's like, I had a conversation with a guy last night for 30 minutes, and this guy was telling me that New York was shutting down. He's like, hey, I'm the only person that can actually shut it down, right? And that's not in my plan. I don't plan on doing that. And this guy argued with him for 30 minutes. I was like, okay, and he's like, who'd you hear this from? He's like, oh, I heard it from a guy. So obviously James is not the only one with a guy or two guys or three guys. Everybody's got a guy, I guess, and pretty interesting. But again, if you guys get a chance to listen to that, go look at that one from today. It was definitely good. Gave some very positive insights, and that's kind of what I've been talking about. Besides that, the only thing kind of note up here, which is not based off coronavirus, is this: the USI's intervention in the Saudi-Russian oil standoff. I don't know. It was interesting. Trump was talking about how this standoff today was actually hurting Russia. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, and it was interesting. He said, "Yeah, I used to be an oil guy. It was all about the car, right? You want cheap, cheap gas. But now that we are a producer, now it matters to us." Um, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like if these two guys wipe each other out, then if we're producing more, we don't need their oil, and we can, then we can create it as much as we want of it. If these two have been taken out of it, if it's not profitable for them, so I don't know why we're getting involved. Let's worry about our own problems. Let them to duke it out. We'll produce our own stuff, and then like I said, I mean, pretty soon Tesla will be giving out cars for free. So I'm all about the free Tesla car. Not as worried about oil. All right. So let's go into charts. Actually, let's look at the scanner real quick. So scanner today is a little bit more viable than we were yesterday. Although, again, what are you seeing on here? A lot of retracements from yesterday. Like, look at this. The Canadian basket. Look at this. Anchor break, anchor break, anchor break, anchor break. Over here, you're seeing two anchor breaks as well. Again, still all red on the Aussie, but we know the Aussie dollar is up 109 pips. So how the heck is this? Again, it's given us a downtrend setup on the daily because it's been so negative. But again, we're seeing positive really across this board. So again, you can see it on the daily, and then again, obviously the consolidation, but blue is for the most part on the 4-hour, 1 hour. Basically the majors haven't really changed too much, right? Aussie dollar, New Zealand, and pound dollar all down, are giving us this downtrend setup. They're all green today. Again, you're seeing kind of mixed here, but you're seeing a lot of anchor breaks, at least on the 1 hour. And again, that's after the spikes up and down, not expected, right? Not unexpected. The European basket, kind of some of the same things here, right? You're seeing the New Zealand, Aussie, and pound again, all giving a bit of resistance back again. You're seeing an anchor break here, and then an anchor break down here on negative versus the Swiss and versus the CAD. So again, even versus the CAD, it's like, hey, wait a second, you're getting some resistance back again. Canadian basket again, all over the place. Aussie basket, for the most part, is pretty consistent across the board. Everything is pulling back right now. And then the pound basket, you'll see the pound basket listed as all red, but what did we say today? We had some pound strength, right? Again, everything is pulling back. It's still in a downtrend setup, but we saw a bit of a pullback. So the question is the pound going to collapse more from where we are now? And again, we'll look for pullback levels. But again, 59 and 316. 316 obviously is a little bit high, but 59 is well below what the daily ATR is for that pair. So interesting pullback. Definitely an interesting pullback. And again, under any other situation, a 315 pip burst in one day with the pound yen, that would have caused an anchor break, right? You'd be getting anchor breaks over here against most of these pairs, but it's not. It's just giving you a pullback because the day prior was just absolutely insane. So what I'm kind of hoping that the craziness is out. That at the end of this week we will have 7 days of quarantine down, and we'll start getting some actual numbers, and some positivity will get back in the market at this point. Wait, yes he does. My son-in-law has it, and the doctor in hospital offered him a new drug. Oh, okay, cool. Not cool that he has it, but he's taking the anti-malaria one. Yeah. Yep. I have a friend that she thought she had it, although her fever broke today. They just sent her home because she was young. and she didn't actually get tested for it. I guess we didn't have test kits here, or she didn't qualify for it. And but her fever broke today. She was like, "Yep, I'm feeling 1,000 times better. If I have it, I'm past it. I'm cool." So she's, it's not too bad. But hopefully it's not bad for your son-in-law, and the anti-malaria drug works. It's actually not the first time that we've seen anti-malaria drugs working. When I worked for Merck, we had some anti-malaria drugs that also did a number of different things in other countries. My big concern is, again, the FDA. Again, this is, as bad as this whole thing is, the FDA is like, no, we need to run full trials. It's like, this is a little bit different of a situation. It's already being approved in other countries in the world. Don't be the one that lags behind and people have to pay for it. Like I said, they've made some major mistakes in the past, and even when they approve drugs, it doesn't mean the drugs are necessarily safe. They don't actually know until you get long-term data. So, they make plenty of mistakes where they need to, pull drugs and do drug recalls. So, I mean, to believe that they're going to make sure that it's great, it's like, let's not candy coat it. You really don't know until we have 10, 15 years and millions of people taking a drug what the true outcomes are going to be. Studies aren't that big, but yet the guy at the FDA is like, oh, we have a long-standing great, reputation. It's like, sort of, really. So, yeah. All right, so let me get that out of the way. So again, a lot of different opportunity. It looks like we have a lot of opportunity, but most of it is on the daily level. Again, as soon as you drop down to the fours, you're seeing consolidation here, continuation here, consolidation here, a little bit mixed. So again, we're seeing those large spikes on a daily basis, but we're not seeing kind of normal trading activity during the day. So again, be cautious with any type of scanners you're using right now until we start kind of reverting back to what the normalcy should be. Okay. All right, so let's flip over and look at some charts. Let's go over here to Aussies first. All right, there we go. Aussie dollar. Oh, actually, Aussie dollars first. All right, so as you guys can see, we do have what looks like a little bit of a bottom and a pullback. Now, remember, the market moves in two processes, right? We have an impulse and we have a corrective move. This could literally just be the corrective move, and we could be having another impulse to the downside. Okay. Now, again, looking at the 4-hour, it doesn't really give us much indication of tops and bottoms, although we do have somewhat of an area of basing here that we did come up and touch and drop lower. And on the 1 hour, you guys can see it did snag this little tiny level, and I think actually we marked this one off yesterday as being an area that's not horrible to take. Again, it's a green dot in an area of red. So again, it went and actually we did mark this off yesterday because we talked about this little top piece right here, but that would have been the trade setup of the day today. I'm trying to see if there's, we do more off of that. Probably not. I don't know that I'd take that area again. It's very, very small, and it literally weighted to the it's basically a wick over wick formed up here, okay, is where the starting point was. Now, I do like the bottom level. Now, can we see it? We can't see it on the 4-hour, but on the 1 hour, this is actually not a horrible level, right? Price came down. It made it like an attempt to push up and kind of came back over again. Let's see on the 30-minute. Yeah. So look, it actually turned. We did have a green candle, came back down again, and then that's where it started to form its buyer. So you can see actually what we would do is you'd want to cut this in half and probably take it into about that level. I don't know why it does fuchsia, but the fuchsia level is probably more where we'd want to put a zone on that one, which is great. Again, we don't typically want to use 30-minute as kind of a weekend holding area, but it's actually not a bad area. If we can stabilize tomorrow and not kind of revert back into a full-on blown bearish, just collapse off a cliff type position, this could give us an opportunity not only to open in this area, but also help us provide a bottom for at least the short term, okay? I don't think Australia's out of the woods yet either. And again, a lot of this is going to be based off demand and what's going on in gold. But again, nice that we got this. And again, pushed up, pulled back, came up, and then put a lower high in based off the top of that area. That typically signifies that we got something going on down there. Yeah, you can see it on the 15-minute just a little bit better. And again, that's not a bad little draw either. All right, so not horrible. Definitely happy with that one. I want to see what we do tomorrow. Like I said, probably wouldn't sell off this top one again. I'm not a big fan of these like just tiny little ribbon zones. I tend to like the ones that are a little bit bigger. But again, obviously be cautious if you're getting up in that area before tomorrow morning. Trying to think if we would get up there, I probably wouldn't because it's Friday. What I was thinking was, if Trump is getting ready to speak and we were kind of sitting in that area channel, would I short at that point? Probably not. Excuse me. Trump has been speaking around noon, 1 o'clock, and again, being Friday, there'll be many sellers out of the markets already. All the other countries in the world would already be done. So it'd be a lower volume market. So I don't think we'll get as much movement as we would have technically gotten if it was any other day. So that's where I stand on that one. We'll see. And again, I'm kind of excited. Hopefully this is able to stabilize itself and not crash through this tomorrow, because I'd like to be able to use this for a level to go long on Sunday. Looking at Aussie New Zealand. All right. So again, Aussie New Zealand. Now this is actually giving us not only one day, but this one has a bunch more indecision. Look at these candles. Look at this. Gigantic wicks top to bottom, bit of indecision. It's kind of like, wait, what's going on? Who's weak, who's strong, what's going on? And you can see here on the 4, we're really just bouncing back and forth. I mean, this is where we currently are now. And go back 6 candles, this is where we were here, right? We'd pushed all the way up, pushed all the way back down again, pushed all the way back up again. So it's literally just smacking back and forth in candles of indecision. Here on the 1 hour, you can see how long it's taken. 2 hours up, 2 hours down, 2 hours up, 2 hours down. And it's just really bouncing back and forth in that zone. So it's more like that. And then, if you have to say, hey, are we trending? Not really. Are we inside of a channel? Yeah, there could be a case made for that we're going kind of sideways. But you'll notice that this one is slightly higher, slightly higher, slightly higher. Same thing. Here's a bottom. We were higher here, but lower high, kind of, higher high, kind of about the same. So not really a good defined top and bottom into that kind of channel. You could say it's an equidistant channel, but not really the best, right? And on a 30-minute, that's what I was kind of talking about, is having that kind of top to it. And we've been unable to get to that area. And you can see here, this is a better example. Higher, just under, higher, 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 and then obviously lower. But again, after hours, we'll see if we get a push back up again. So I still think this on the 30-minute is probably a valid zone at this point. Again, this nice push off of this one. This comes in at what, 102.06. Again, tips, standard kind of, placement. If it just continues to go up green, the 1 to 3 is in a good location for me. Actually, the 1 to 5 is not horrible either. And then if you are going to continue to hold it past that, make sure you are out before we get back, before price gets back down to 10053. Now, if it turns and flips, obviously don't, that position, we're going to have to reevaluate it. This is basically just, the setting that it continues to push up overnight, grabs this level, and then comes to the downside. Aussie yen. All right, so here's the daily. So this one had quite a volatile day up and down. If you look at this one on the daily, it's 248 pips. And if you take this one on the daily, this one has 572 pips. So over double the ATR again, and look at the amount of wicks. So this gave us a lot of indecision today. We were high, came all the way down, and then came all the way back again. So this is where price is currently, right? And this is where price was last night at chart school, right? It was basically the start of this candle. So what did we do? We collapsed much, much farther, came all the way back up, and then we got a bit of retracement down again. So we were unable to get to really a clean level anywhere. Looking at it on the 1 hour, you can see it did give us and also, gave us a bottom, which I do like. And again, there's a wick here, and a wick here. Okay, and then this one touched the top of it. So these are the type of zones that I am much more into. Same thing here, but you're not going to be able to see it on the 30-minute. You can only see it on the 1 hour. But I like that. I'm happy that we do have some type of zone that triggered. The difference between the left side and the right side on this one, the indicator liked it. That's always a great sign. At this point, again, we're using this section here, this guy right here. Whoops, I missed that one. Hold on. There. And I think those are your two good zones. There's your top and bottom on the 1 hour, as far as where price goes. Now, what I'd like to see is, let's see, how much space do we got top and bottom here? Whoops. About 236 up and about 316 down. So they're both in good places. I don't think we're going to get a trigger tomorrow, but the question is, if we can get close here, can we gap up and open there on Sunday? And vice versa, if it comes down, can we open up inside of a position in this lower time frame? And that's kind of what I'm starting to look for. If we don't have anything in the immediate vicinity, we're kind of in the middle right now. Will tomorrow, end us either high or low with inside of this kind of mini area? And will that give us the potential to open here or open here? I'm liking that on both sides. So again, that's kind of my setup for the Aussie yen. Aussie CAD. All right, so Aussie CAD, same type of turnaround. And again, we're seeing this in all the pairs. They all ran into demand at the same exact time. On the 4 hour, not a really super clean level. On the hourly, you can see we actually pushed through one of those ribbon zones. And again, that's why I'm not a huge fan of those ribbon zones. This was something we drew on the 30-minute, right? Yeah, that was the entry for here. Okay. Kind of the same thing. I mean, you can see the zone on the hourly. The 30-minute, you can't see it. The 15, there's an argument you could put one down here, definitely. But I think at this point, I, I like the last one better because the zone above was much, much higher. I think that's a bit too far. Yeah, you're talking about 600 pips. Daily ATR, that's 3 times. Yeah, this one I don't like as much, and here's why. This wick here is 3 times the actual body size, so it's not really my favorite, right? It's not a really clean. I mean, if it was literally here, I'd like it. It's just a bit too much. Again, happy with the bottom side, but between this and the other two Aussie pairs with this bottoming effect, I think the Aussie dollar, the Aussie yen are better than the Aussie CAD. We'll have to look at that tomorrow. Aussie Swiss going back up to the daily. Again, same situation. Look at this. Look at this candle. Up, down, and it has a very, very small body in here. Again, there's just not a whole lot we can do with those. On the 4 hour, you can see what did it do? It came all the way down, came all the way back up, and they're big bodied candles. I mean, there was definitely momentum coming in, right? Um, basically from 1 o'clock in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was trending in one direction. The Europeans got out of the market, and what did it do after the time? It literally went straight back up again, and then we had a little bit of retrace at the end. Lower time frame, same thing, and again, same pattern, right? A lower wick, a higher wick, and this one actually went lower, and that's why I drew it across. So not horrible. This one actually will mark it off in the 30, so not a bad little area, right? Oh, he's talking on this. So I follow the governor now, and I did the subscribe, notify me when he talks because I keep missing things. But he does multiple replays during that day, and I'm like, wait, is he talking again? It's like, no, that's a replay from earlier. So I do like this bottom zone. I think this is good. We're quite far from it. So again, it's not going to be an entry for something tomorrow. I mean, if it is, it's moved so much in one day. We're talking about 350 pips on that one. And yeah, it's crazy right now, but the ATR is only 184, so we're not quite there yet. But again, if it does start to flip, it does look like this is our impulsive move, our corrective move. It put in a lower high, continues to push down. This could be giving us the same type of open on Sunday night. That could be giving us a nice little long. All right, so maybe not able to trade it now, but there is something to trade it. Now he's on Fox. Jesus, he's on every channel. Oh my God, no more. They're like, Larry Hogan's on here. Larry Hogan is on here. Larry Hogan is on here. What's up, Ace? All right, so Aussie Swiss and more of a setup for Sunday night than anything else. Going to Aussie Singapore. Now, Aussie Singapore, look at this candle. This is, look at this. We talk about indecision. The open and close is basically at the same exact spot. All the way up, all the way down. The daily ATR is 236. This one is 642. So, with that being said, it was 3 times the ATR, open and close in the same exact spot. What was there? It was straight down. Again, Europeans got out, it went straight back up again, and then we started the retrace once the Asian market came back on. I mean, this is literally following session by session. Here was that little tiny zone that we had drawn, and again, it hit it and retreated off of it. We could probably see it on lower time frames. Yeah, you guys can see it here. See it popped up and then retreated all the way back down again. That was that gap here. You guys remember I said, hey, watch out for that gap. That could be something. Let's see. Did it even hit its full? Yeah. It retreated all the way back down again. So you still would have hit your target before it blew through. So again, another gap kind of winner in there. But at this point, what we need to be focusing on is what's above and below. So on the hourly, I like that this is a very sharp decline into the area, a basing, and then a pop out of it. That we don't have that same kind of effect over here. Really on the 4 hours trash too. There's not really a whole lot. I think at this point, again, I like the fact that we have a bottom. We'll see where it kind of ends up tomorrow. I mean, it can get pretty volatile from now till then. But on the daily, like I said, a big candle of indecision. If anything on this one, it looks like this is looking for orders. It's cleared a lot, but I would say I'm probably still. I don't know. That's not a bad sign right there. I didn't come all the way back down again. So maybe this is actually trying to start to do a little bit of a retrace up. And without any clean levels here, maybe this will get a little bit of room. But I mean, right now to the top side, you're talking about 180 pips before we really have many sell orders. So, right now it looks like it does want to be a bit more bearish. But as I mentioned last night, guys, I mean, look, this is one session here, right? Here, I'll turn this off. You guys can see. This was last night. This is where we were last night. Started the rally up. Again, 11 o'clock in the afternoon, the Europeans stepped out. What did it do? Straight back down again. right? The U.S. steps out, and the Asian session took over again, and now it's moving in another direction. So one session, one session, one session. Okay, and again, the overlap happens right in this area. So it's following session session lines here. All right, so let's look at the CAD yen. So CAD yen, we had that big spike down and went just slightly lower, and today again, big push up again, right? As you guys know, the Canadian, for the most part, it just got slammed yesterday. Today was a bit of a rebounding effect, right? So here's a zone we had, and it's kind of sitting in that zone right now. Again, this is on one of the lower time frames. I do like that the indicator signified that we do have something on the lower in the lower area, and this is kind of where we're at. So unfortunately, the 1 hour is not showing us anything, and we're kind of in that zone now. It's not not the cleanest of zones, as I said before. I mean, it's quite large. Again, we spiked into it about that far up. And I mentioned last night, I said, hey, listen, it's already been that far in. If we take that from the high, that's basically where your level is. So you can see that we've hit it, and we've kind of pushed back down again. It's had a bit of a move. We'll see if it has enough steam tonight, if this is going to be the actual turning spot. But again, taking this to the top side, you can see that, here, actually, let me change this. Let me pick a different color here. The silver is not showing up well. Khaki? Yeah, there we go. That's fine. You guys can see that one. You guys can see the overlap inside of that zone. Actually, here, you know what? I'll just do it this way. There's the top of the zone. Just do it that way. Make it a little bit easier. Draw attention towards it. And actually, that should be touching right here. There you go. So that's the zone we just ran into. It is pulling back and turning away, and that is on the hourly. On the 30-minute as well, again, it was marked off because, again, fast, strong movement out. Tested here, as you guys can see. Can't really refine it much, unfortunately. That's the best we're going to be able to do for it. And it's about 20 pips, 18 pips. Not horrible. We'll see if we get the retracement to the downside. So that's CAD yen. Looking at CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss, again, large R's movement. This is due to the Canadian. This one, a little bit bigger spread, 3, pushed up. It's kind of in an area basing right now. It has not marked off a level on the bottom. Even the hourly did not mark a level off on the bottom. So although we did have a turning point here, it wasn't really formed in the best possible way. Okay, there is a zone slightly above where we are, as you guys can see right here. It's quite small. Small relative to these days. It's about 26 pips. On the 30-minute, you're able to see it as well. It's been hit a few times, right? I mean, here is hit number 1. Here's hit number 2. You could kind of say that it's hit number 3. There's hit number 4. So although it's not a bad level, I do think it may have a little bit of issues. And again, we're starting to build zones up on the top. So as far as the CAD Swiss goes, I don't really like too much in it. I mean, even on this time frame, we're looking at 29 pips, spread of 3 to 4. Going into a Friday, again, both these pairs after the news tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, neither of these pairs really has much going for it, unless there's some type of big oil news tomorrow. Not the only thing that's going to bump this pair around. So I don't think we were going to really have much of a setup going into a Friday for this one. All right. Looking at the Swiss. All right. So here's the Swiss. Still consolidating, guys, right? These are coming down. These are coming up. Again, here's your 2 levels marked off. Those levels were done, I think, did we do those on the hourly? Yeah, they were done on the 30-minute. So here's where I drew them last night, that these zones are still 2, good probability zones. And what did we do? We didn't even go as high. We didn't even go as low. Again, it's consolidating back. Top to bottom is about 114 pips. The daily AATR on this one is 163. Again, it is obviously exaggerated right now going through here. And that's kind of how we were setting this one up, saying, hey, listen, if we can go top or bottom, that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We're looking for a safety, whether high on the curve or low on the curve. It didn't even go that high or low. It actually started to compress back down into kind of normal zones again. So what I'm doing for this one right now is I'm kind of cheering this on. I got my pom-poms out. I want this one to push through this zone. And again, it's hit it a few times. It may have a little bit more problems. I want it to push up overnight. All right. I want it to push up on Friday, and I want to end closer to this top zone. I would like us to close Friday sitting somewhere in this area. If we can close there, if we can close in this area right here, I will be extremely happy. Okay. I would like to close here. Why? Because Sunday night, I want to open up inside of this zone. I want this zone to be extended all the way across with this green line. I want to open up right over here, and I want to short this on Sunday. If it comes all the way down here, it's going to mess up my grand plan, but that's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like for it to come up, and if it does, I'm looking to sell on Sunday night. Besides that, I don't have anything else going on for this pair. Going into the Euros. Is his volume bipolar? Maybe. I mean, I stop talking when I think so.
But Ernest complains all the time that the sound is weird. Yeah, sometimes it gets weird. So what the microphone does is the microphone equalizes sound based off of like I don't know how I'm oh excuse me, I went down the wrong pipe. It equalizes the sound based off of what my like average sound is. If I talk really loud, it'll adjust and kind of put it down so it doesn't get I forget what the I forget what the actual like term is for it, but then it goes back down. Deduct pip chips from Ernest anytime he complains. I could do that. I mean, you know, Ernest is just using the force now. He's not using audio. It's like watching a football game. Have you ever guys watched a football game live but had the announcers in your ear? I never realized how boring a football game actually is without the broadcasters talking. I was like, man, this is weird. Like I get this. It's like you go to a football game and you listen to the guys on the TV. All right, you're Aussie. So Euro Aussie also had one of these really very funky candles, right? On the daily ATR for the Euro Aussie is 543 pips, which is just yeah, it's crazy. Top and bottom, you know, again, we're talking about over 1,000 pips on this one. What are you talking here? 1796, right? It's just yeah, I mean yeah, that's top to bottom. So obviously a bit of a volatile pair. I've been warning you guys about this pair. Again, this is the area that I was looking to overtake. Uh, just you know, straight up, right? So starting over here at about 1 o'clock in the morning, this is what sent this thing higher, right? Got to about 1 o'clock. Again, this is one day up. Then we had 1 o'clock in the morning here, and we went all the way back down, and we're kind of sitting over here, and this is again marked as the 1 o'clock. There you go, sorry, the 21. So yeah, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So again, day up, day down, and now it's kind of retracing back again. So yeah, good luck with this one. This is one of those ones. The spread is still up at 6 right now. So, yeah, you're going to have to be cautious with this one either way. I mean, even on the 30-minute, you guys can see. I mean, some of the minor zones are getting popped and going back and forth, but um, it's just a bit volatile right now. Like I said, if you can catch this one, a trend on this one, you know, you're pretty much good to go. But, you know, even looking today, there was really no necessarily, you know, there's no pullback rate, you know, areas that I would like, yep, got to get short. Got to get short. You just don't see it. Even in the 5-minute, oops, even in the 5-minute, you know, you can see minor zones in here, but besides that, there hasn't been pullbacks. Look at this going long here. Where are you going to pull back to? This was the best area. There was a small trade right here, right? Again, I'm on the 5-minute right now. We don't normally go this low, but you can see around noon. Noon was about the only time you could have got into this trade. The risk level that was associated with this was, and again, it looks small, right? Looks tiny. 32 pips. All right, 32 pips. From that area, though, I mean, from this area up, you know, and again, let's look for just confirmations, right? Here's a higher red. Here's a red. Here's a green. Kind of came up. I wouldn't say that this is a break yet, right? Here's a red higher, red higher, red higher, red higher, red higher. Here's a red. Here's a green, but it went higher. But there's a red. This green went higher and invalidated it. There's a green, there's a red. These are all in the same area. There's a red, there's a green. So here's about the first time that you could arguably say, it looks like it's breaking below. You know, it looks like it's breaking low. And again, there's a red, a green, a red. So you'd definitely be out. So based off that 30 risk, though, you know, you're looking at about 330 pips out of it. So there was a 10-to-1 setup out of it on the 5-minute if you were able to catch it. Again, what you don't want to happen is they get caught in something like this where it kind of will gap past or jump past. And you know, just this candle over here is 330 pips in itself. So even on a 5-minute, you know, when you're looking at a 5-minute chart and you can see a candle that's 300 pips on a 5-minute chart, you know that there's a little bit of dynamite in that position. All right. And again, we're here to protect our capital, not, you know, not get blown up. All right. But again, small position here. This is pushing it. I know the indicator drew it. I don't know that I would have taken that trade. Again, with it bouncing back and forth, especially because the risk on that win is about 55. This one, 30, I'm okay. 50 is a bit much, I think, for you know, one position. So we'll see. Trying to see if we're not even really close to anything major at this point. Obviously, nothing above. There's not really any great levels. Little wick over wick. So try to see. No, I mean, there's not even. You guys can see. Look at all the levels that I put in low here on the way up. I mean, there's nothing in this area. I was hoping we'd be near something for a Sunday trade, but nothing.
So Euro Aussie may be a bit difficult to trade. Euro CAD, going back to the daily, look at this thing. This spike is huge, right? Here's your 4 hour. Again, in 12 hours, this thing is just just collapsing, right? 550 pips. Here's your 1 hour. So we did mention last night that we did have the zone down here. It has been pierced pretty deeply. Did put in some sellers. Some sellers tried to push it down again. The buyer stepped in and actually didn't let it go as low. And now we're kind of getting a little bit front run. We're kind of bouncing and stabilizing before. What it's doing is it's accumulating orders to figure out how to bust through that window. So this one as well, you can see here, not a lot of movement. Kind of curious. If we are unable, again, this is the 30-minute chart. If we are unable to go and break below this, I think we're getting pretty close to where, if we open in this zone, I think that could be worth a long, some type of a position. If we can, again, if we can close somewhere in this area here, that could give us the gap down on Sunday into an area for buying, and then look to take this, somewhere up into this range probably. Again, we'll see what this looks like now in the overnight. But again, look for a close here tomorrow, pop down, a buy on Sunday, and then a potential pop to the top side. Okay, and we're looking for that on a couple different things. Looking for Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss, you can see this bouncing back and forth already. Here's the daily. Okay, not much moving. Again, we've had huge candles the last two pairs. This one does not have the huge candles. This one only has a daily ATR of 63 pips, which is like what? That's like a 5 minimum on the other ones, right? Not as much movement here. It's not as liquid as a pair. Very, very flat, and it's amazing to find one pair that is more or less dead, right? I mean, it's literally stuck sideways, top to bottom. As big as these candles are, these are 16 pips. That last, the last chart I showed you, the last pair, we had candles on the 5 minute, and I'm on the hourly. There was 5 minute candles that were 300 pips. This one, it's on the 1 hour, they're 16 pips. That's one of the bigger ones. So much, much smaller of a pair. The Euro Swiss is not moving as much. Again, this is kind of like what the Aussie New Zealand did in the very beginning, because they both have the same economic conditions. Okay. It's like when you go out, got a good baseball game. Yeah, right. Yeah. My grandfather watches them with no volume. Really, on TV, he watches them with no volume? I mean, I guess that's like being at a game, but you're not paying like, $11 a beer and, $8 for a hot dog. Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't think they make any money off the seats. I think they make all the money off the concessions. All right, so Euro Swiss, not really anything that, is great. So Euro Pound put in some work today, down 241 pips in 24 hours. So again, a lot of movement. As you guys can see, this one had a crazy, crazy ascent, but what comes up must come down. All right, so as you can see, the candle from yesterday, it's got a lot of wick. The body's okay, but it's got a lot more wick than it's got body. So again, you're always cautious of that. And it's not so much indecision, but it was a parabolic spike up and then a parabolic spike back down again, and now it's kind of tempered kind of in the middle. Now, on the 4 hour, this one is quite large. This one has a daily ATR about 150 pips, but right now the daily ATR is about 114. And as you guys can see, there is a level of basing right here. Okay, and it did hit that level of basing. It did exactly what it's supposed to do for a parabolic retracement. It came back, it retraced exactly to the origin of the move, and then kind of came across it. Now it's kind of consolidating in. But as you guys can see, it came low enough. On the 1 hour, okay, on the 1 hour is a little bit harder to see. Right, there's this long, look at this. There's this long level right here. No real explosion off. You would have drawn the level here because, again, that's where we kind of finally broke free of the area in a green candle, and then we popped and had 5-6 candles to the top side. And you can see there is a little bit of overlap. You guys can see the little fuchsia color in here, meaning the candle that is drawn now did actually break into this zone. Actually, the bottom side's off. The bottom side would need to be there. Okay. Yeah, there and there. All right. So it was a valid trade if you were looking to get into it. It was definitely counter trend. Whoops. And that came in at right around 11 o'clock. Again, what have we talked about? Here's the Asians, or here's the European session. The Europeans get out of the market and trend change. Okay. Like I said, if you guys can figure out what the trend is during a specific session, the things have just been going, right? Nobody's been able to stop any of the trends. And then as soon as it ends, the next trend starts in the next session. And as you guys can see right here, is, 5 o'clock? 6 o'clock, right? And basically the start of the Asian session. Since the start of the Asian session, down. So European session, US session, Asian session. All right. Amazing how that works out. And again, this is what the currency market used to be known about, be known for, about the different sessions pushing themselves around. So Again, had you taken this, a nice little 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade, again, kind of counterbalancing what we saw for the day. And again, obviously it is coming back down again now. So where we're looking for tomorrow, let's see, let me erase some of these things, reset all the data. All right. So not a bad level down here, actually, where this took off from. Again, I know that it didn't hit too much here. I was hoping on the 30-minute we'd get some type of a level drawn up top. There is a level here, but it's a crap level. It took way too many candles. It's been about 5-6 hours there, kind of topping and kind of falling over slow before it picked up momentum to the downside. Most of this fall, this kind of crash in here, it occurred, around the European Open, right? As soon as that European data came out and the markets came online is when it really started to falter. I was hoping we get something clean. You guys can see on the 15-minute, it's just not. About 27. At this point, actually, in this position, honestly, I think I'm looking more for a break. Like, I think I think, again, this went up so fast without any type of retracement as well. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. I think I'm looking for a break at this level. I think, again, drawn from that same level. Again, these small little ribbon zones I'm not as concerned about. I think we're going to start playing a retrace. I think if we can get this position to come down, we can get a potential little Harry Potter trade here to the downside, kind of bringing this back down into the median, because obviously we're very, very high on the curve now. We went from medium to high. I think if we can get this to turn and flip and push, we can get a push back down into this range back in here, back over into the 87 range versus where we are right now at 92. Okay, so that could be, it could be interesting. Let's see, we are about 90 pips from it. So again, tomorrow where the close is, we could be really close to this zone where they're bouncing off the top of it. And again, tomorrow at the close of business, I would actually kind of expect us to be, if we haven't broken and retested, set up for a retest, I could see us just skirting along the top of this line. Again, without much European or pound news tomorrow. Again, I don't think it may not have the catalyst to break through. So this one may be one we look for next week. Euro yen. Euro yen on the daily. Okay. Mentioned this the last couple of days. Look at the consolidation to the downside. Now it's even getting more clear, right? You're seeing, oops, not that one. I didn't want that one. I wanted this one. You guys are seeing, right? You have this consolidating down, and vice versa. You have this consolidating up. Okay, so again, everybody knows what this patterns is. It's basically boxing in, right? It's running out of kind of news. We're getting back to normal times. It's still showing a lot of indecision, but it is shrinking. It's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. On the 4-hour, you can see it is kind of following it's following what it's supposed to do. It's not going to the other side, though, which is kind of what's interesting. And we're also seeing the ATR come back down again. So a lot of the craziness looks like it's working its way out of this one. Let's see. It is about a 200 pip frame. Unfortunately, the risk is like 65 up top, 66 on the downside. It's still a bit too much. Yeah, even the hourly zones are a bit crazy. Yeah, 60, 40. No, I mean, I like the bottom. So these are the two that I don't mind. I don't know if we can get to either one of them tomorrow. I like that zone, and I like this zone right here. It takes us outside of either of these two things, either of these two kind of micro zones. Again, top and bottom of the curve, I think, are the better two options here in this one. If it's going to just mess around, like I said, this is the hourly. It kind of came up and touched and bounced back and forth. I think tomorrow we could actually end up coming down and just ending here. I think these are the safer two plays in this case, with any explosive movement, which I don't think we're necessarily going to get it. We are what? We're about 80 pips from the lower zone. The ATR is about 188, but you guys can see it's starting to come down. It's already peaked and it's already starting to come back down again. Once it's one or two more of these taking these big candles out, this thing's going to chunk back down again. So it looks like it's starting to run out of steam towards the end of the week. So 1-hour chart, top and bottom, I think, are the two best bases on this one to be able to grab. You guys can see it. Here is the kind of top of that channel, and here's the last bottom. And since that time, it's consolidating in again. Here's a low, here's a high, and again, Not even all the way back, not even all the way back. So it's starting to consolidate in. Let's look for the explosion. Okay. Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand. This is what I talked about. Remember yesterday I said this one could probably be a bit dangerous. It just starts running. Well, the ATR is 496 pips. Okay. Look at this. This is what it normally is. And then there's this. Okay. So dropping down to a 4-hour level, this is what we had today. Again, one up, one down, and then again, there's just no movement. Now we did have a wick over wick that we talked about last night. It actually didn't make it up to there. On the lower time frame, there's this little tiny basing level here, and I say tiny, it's actually not that tiny, but candle wise, there's the actual entry. Again, had you been looking at this, it's quite a large zone, and as I warned you guys before, this one has a spread of 10, 11 pips. So yeah, it's going to be more risk to get into this than anything else. Again, New Zealand and liquidity issues is a big deal right now. This zone, this zone is 116 pips risk. It looks tiny. It's not that tiny. It's 116 pips. And as you can see, off of that level, it did drop 401 pips. But again, you had 100 pips risk on the line in that one. Dropping it down to the 30-minute, you could shorten it slightly, right? You could shorten it up to there and made it smaller. You're still talking about 65 pips to the downside. And again, that one at its low was 460 pips down. So there was a zone there. Was it a risky one? Probably. Most people aren't really into, at least in day trading, going down to 30 minutes. You're not talking about 65 and 100 pip zones on a 30-minute and hourly chart. So you can tell that this one is a bit nuts right now. New here, do you typically deal with currencies on stream, or do you dabble into and explain your thoughts on different aspects of the markets? Huber, I do everything. I cover all the currency pairs first, and then I end with the indices: gold, silver, oil. But anything that I teach on any of the charts can be, you can use it to learn how to do stocks. And I don't do anything with stocks just because I don't trade them regularly. My wife's an advisor, so I'm unable to trade individual stocks. But once you understand how to trade, a chart is a chart is a chart. My students hear me say it all the time. I don't teach anything that could only be used for currencies or only be used for oil or only be used for stock indices or anything. Every single chart is exactly the same. So if you're a stock trader, what I'm showing you here, if you can, grasp the concept of understanding supply and demand, it works all the same. So, but for individual trade setups, yeah, I cover currencies, I'll cover the indices, I'll cover oil, I'll cover gold, and I'll cover silver. It's basically all I have time to. But if you have something in particular that you want me to look at, sometimes I do have the ability to kind of pull it up and look at it, and I don't mind doing that. It's but like I said, analysis on a chart is analysis on a chart. There's not really much difference. Okay. So Euro New Zealand guys, again, be cautious with that. Let's go to Euro Dollar. So Euro Dollar today it's down now 186, and again, we talked about this. Look at this on a daily basis. Look at this. Look at this move from being high on the curve to where we are now. Okay. I mean, again, here's your 5 days, right? Your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went from high to medium on the curve to all the way to low, right? But look at this. Look at that daily zone that we cranked into from back here, and look at this run, right? This has been a heck of a run to the downside. We're at 107.20 right now, and again, we were at a low of what, 106.50. I feel like we're gonna have to start drawing the line and put it down here at parity, right? Like I feel like I need to put this a zone right here. Let's change this to like gold or something like that. Gold with like a super big long thing here, and the parameters, and we're just going to stick it at 1, right? Stick that guy at 1. We know when we hit that, we've reached the golden land, right? So looks like it's far away. It's not that far away. I mean, draw basically the last week. Draw the last week, and boom, look at that. It's past parity. So we are right there. Oh God, I deleted it. That's all right. I can put it back on later. All right. So on the daily, you guys can see we are coming down. We are gonna run into a zone. That zone is coming in at 105.30. Not surprised. On the 4-hour, I can't see it, so it's obviously going to be a much larger time frame. Again, you guys can see this has been a pretty healthy drop, right, from that zone. The impulse correction, all the way down. Nice little pop here. Now this did have a good move off. The indicator did grab this one, so that's actually not a horrible zone. Again, it did have a nice push. It came up, it based, and then it was a hard collapse, but we can't really see much else. On the hourly, Same thing. We mentioned this before. It's been hard to get into, but at least it's been healthy with the impulses, the corrections. It's doing what it's supposed to do. On the 30-minute, obviously, we have a bit more. And this is going to be the true test: is are we be able to go up, and will we be able to test some of these lows? Now you can see here on the 30-minute, this one kind of ran out of steam, right? Really since about noon today, right when the European traders got out, this one basically died. Okay, it just ran out of steam. It didn't give us anything. Didn't even give us like a little grind, right? It literally just stopped. It went to a low and then just went sideways. So obviously this one we need to see the European traders come back online. They need to kind of react to what happened today. In all honesty, there are times when they will make the dollar weak, and there are times that they make obviously the European currency weak. Um, for Europe at this point, I feel like they want to continue making it weak as well, right? And the reason why is for exports and everything. They'll bring their economies back online faster. Not the people who are working and producing goods, but the ones they do have, people will purchase because it's cheap. Um, Big thing that we need to worry about is this zone here. We are within striking distance. We're only about 100 pips. Okay, so we know that we could be down there tomorrow. The way that I'm looking at this one, and again, because we haven't been to this zone, I mean, let's see, it's been last time we were here 2017. Okay, 4/11/2017. Okay, been a while. Been a while, right? And actually, you know what? It's not even really the best zone. It's okay. I would actually put it a bit lower. I'd actually stick myself probably down here. Oh, great. Now it's going to be the big gold one. I'd probably stick myself there based off of the reaction here. Again, this came down nice and then a very strong single candle pop, retest up, right? And again, there's a little bit of a retest here, a little bit of retest. I like this zone actually better. That zone is coming in there down at 105.47 to 104.89. That's about 160 pips away. So it could absolutely, if this thing turns red on us, and we have another, basically red day from where we were yesterday, um, yeah, we could be actually, close. Again, this could be a Sunday night into a daily zone. That wouldn't be too bad to go long. I could definitely be into that one. It's less than 1 day ATR to the downside. Get into this one long and take up. Let's see, where would and we probably wouldn't take it off of just the daily. I'd have to drop it down and do a bit more analysis, but that's what your risk to reward ratio would look like. And again, if it turns here, that would be about the right place for that 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. So, you know, not a bad area. That's not too bad. The 1 to 5 is probably okay as well. It may take a little bit longer to unfold, but that's not bad. I like that. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that one. I'm gonna have to put an alert in for that one and follow that one. Going into tomorrow though, again, here's your lower time frames. There's not too much in there. Again, this zone, it spends so much time in this thing kind of bouncing back and forth. I don't know that I could use that. I like this zone up here much, much better than I like this one on the 15-minute. It is a bit far. It's about 200 pips up, so I don't think we're going to get to it tomorrow, being a Friday. But as you guys can see, look at that. I went, oh, look, it's all the way up here. The daily area is much, much closer. So to me, I think the path of least resistance is for this to go down, set itself up for some type of a bounce off of the daily. And, last time we had a daily bounce, this is what happened. We had this. You know, this whole movement so far has been 833 pips to the downside. So, yeah, and we're approaching the other side now. So that could be pretty exciting. Look at this one. Uh, so here's the hourly. Let me recycle this one so you guys can see it. Man, look at that. I went right off that zone and popped higher. So close. Here's your hourly. Euro Singapore. So we talked about this zone and setting up a Harry Potter trade. It went all the way down and it invalidated itself, but what did it do? It came all the way back up again. It almost tagged it and then, went all the way back down again. So it was an exaggerated Harry Potter. Obviously, once it goes all the way to the profit targets, we do invalidate it. It's basically the ship is left without us. In this case, it did come back up. It did try to make an attempt to grab it again and go down, but we were already out. It was already a no deal for us. So we can erase it now. But again, nice little zone in there. The strategy, again, it worked. It just ended up going a bit far for us. So we can take this one off and see what we have now to the downside. So here's our 30-minute. This is where we get into the little pieces here. So there's an interesting level here. See how it starts to come down? We got a little bit of a green pullback at base. I don't like that the wick is behind the wall like this, but I do like the push down. So that's kind of an interesting short level. I hate these little things. Let me see back what we got here. Hold on. Yeah, these are junk levels. Downside from where we are now. Yeah, here's that 4 hour. So you're out on that one instantaneously already. Hourly, it looks like it wants to do. It looks like it wants to come higher. I'm curious to see what it does in this zone right here. Got a lot to chunk through though. It's got a lot to chunk through. Yeah, I mean this would have been a 4 hour. You know, the 4 hour setup I think was the best. About 50 pip risk on it though. I mean we talked about it yesterday. Take that Harry Potter down to this 4 hour level. Have that be our profit target. So we missed the entry. It did what we thought it was going to do. It just unfortunately it missed the entry. We couldn't get into it on that Harry Potter. So oh well, better luck next time. Let's go across to the pound. See what we got for the pound pairs. Up, baby is pounding on the door again. Oops, she ran into the door and now is crying. Way to go, mommy. All right, so on the daily, you can see we have kind of turned now. We have 2 days that are green, which is kind of nice. As you can see, we put this lower level in. We'll take that zone. I think that zone was from the 30-minute. Let me look at that real quick. Yeah, that was the one here that we talked about. Let's take it off. All right, so we do have a bottom. The indicator did mark it off on the 4 hour, which is nice. At least that gives us somewhat of a basing level going into the weekend. There's not another level drawn really until the handmade one here or this zone up top a little bit further. On the hourly, we do have a zone that's a bit closer. And again, I had drawn this little gray area up top, but this is, again, not bad. It spent a lot of time. It popped, it retested. We are currently, what, about 204 pips. I think we can get there tomorrow, but I don't know if we're gonna have enough juice to hit it and start the reversal before the weekend. Because again, tomorrow afternoon, once we hit 11:30, all the European traders are out, especially after the week that we've had so far. And it's gonna run out of juice. Okay, this again could be another one of those Sunday setups. That would be what I'd be looking for again if we get a continued pop to the top side. I don't know. Let me see on 30 minutes or anything better. No, we can't even really refine it. It's going to be the same either way. So I think that's the setup. I think, again, this one, again, get the pom-poms out. Let's see if we can get up to this zone. I don't want to hold this over the weekend. Like I said, in this environment, I don't advocate anybody holding anything into the weekend because God knows what's going to happen on Saturday. We could have major gaps yet again. But again, if we can get very, very close to this zone, look for this to open here Sunday and obviously take that short and run this back to the downside. Do you ever trade the 1 minute chart? Base, during normal circumstances, yes, you can drop down to the 1 minute chart if you really, really want to. I'll trade. I have a system called the 5 minute binaries that I will obviously. I mean, I have to go down because it's a 5 minute trade. I do look at the 1 minutes because of the volatility right now. Like, I mean, here I can go down and, like, for example, like on this pair, I can go down to a 1 minute, but the 1 minute ATR right now is 16 pips. Normally, and here I'll pull this in. Just which one are you're talking about the euro dollar here? I'll pull it back up real quick just so you can see. So for like the euro dollar on the 1 minute, this is where like the current market environment is making this a little bit more risky than I like to take, right? So here, 1 minute, the ATR is 9 pips. So every minute it's moving 9 pips is what the average is, right? Let me put ATR on there for you. Okay, we'll put that on there. So you can see as we scroll back, I'll go back as far as I can. And again, we've been in this kind of craziness for a while, right? I'm going to go back as far as I can. And again, this is still going to be crazy time, right? Because it's just 1 minute candles. So back in here, you're seeing that the ATR in this area, again, this is March 11th, right? So we're not even talking like a long time ago. The ATR is 3 pips. So right now, it's 3 times as much as what normal looks like. Normally, and I don't even think I can go any farther back. I don't know how far it's going to let me here. Here you go. Down here, we're talking about 1. Over here, it's still 3 because, again, we're still in the beginning of March. I'm not going to be able to go back much farther for this one. But basically, so a 1 minute chart, again, you're going to see these small little things bouncing back and forth. But again, one of these, I mean, this one candle, this red one right here, is 13 pips in 1 minute. Okay. So it can be very, I mean, if you're a very, very aggressive trader, sure, absolutely, right? Get in there on the 1 minute. For me, if one person says one thing or an article, like last night, JP Morgan released an article that was talking about how the growth rate or the unemployment rate was going to be. Actually, no, last night it was the growth, right? Let me see. I can actually pull it up for you, I believe. Can I go back far enough? Let me see. 13 hours ago, 17 hours, 19 hours. Here we go. Right here. I gotcha. Right here from last night. See this one here? JP Morgan economist says US GDP could drop 14% in second quarter. We had like a 200 pip move instantaneously last night. It was insane. So it's things like this that could really affect the 1 minute chart. And, you know, for me, my first priority is always going to be risk. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Any stocks that catch your eyes currently? I don't look at a ton of stocks, but I mean, if you're looking for stocks right now, use your brain. What is in demand right now? Okay. What is in demand? Think about it. What type of and again, you don't have to just use things with this crisis because again, don't think emotionally. You think what happens when the markets are crashing. What type of stocks tend to do good, right? What type of stocks tend to do good? Consumer staples, right? Things like P&G, things like J&J. 3M is another one. What is 3M doing right now? They're making millions and millions of masks, right? Trump's invoking an order. You know, they're going to be buying things. Think about it. It's consumer staples. It's the same as everything else. So whenever anybody asks me what stock looks good, just think about what type of market cycle we're in right now. You know, where are the greatest fears coming from? What's more important, what you should really be looking for is what stocks are going to come out of this recession fastest. Like, what are the first stocks? And again, I'm not going to tell you what they are. I want you to research it and figure this out on your own. Think about when the market starts to get good again, all of a sudden people aren't getting sick. What companies were strongest before this happened? Okay, if you can figure out what was strongest before, guess what's going to come out of this first? And come out of the, I mean, it's gonna fly. Those are the things that you need to be looking for. The problem with a lot of stocks right now is it's hard to trade them with options because the volatility in the VIX is so high. Think about the companies that were good before this. Those are the ones that are going to come back fastest. Yeah, well, travel is one of those things that I would take that with a grain of salt because travel will come back online slower because again, it's what type of losses are they going to take from this whole thing, right? I would say more kind of retail-based companies. People are going to be scared for a while about travel. You know, there's no line. Travel may be the one thing that's going to have some problems, but you know, think about it. What about electronics? I mean, are people leaving their homes? You know, electronics are good. The chip makers are probably good. Banks, with interest rates at zero, banks make a ton of money, right? Ton of money. That's where they make all their money at. Home builders. Is anybody buying homes or building homes right now? Nope. So those guys are going to have to, you know, build some homes really quickly and probably have some discounts. So, you know, mortgage companies, car makers have shut down now, right? They're going to have cars. There's going to be some deals. They want to clear those lots. Salespeople are going to want to move stuff. People are going to be bored. They want new cars, right? That will do well, right? When demand comes back, will oil go higher? Probably. I mean, that's a demand story right now. So oil companies, could they potentially be an area where there is a pop coming in the future? Sure. Think about inflation. Where are the interest rates? Zero. So when the economy gets good again, what's going to be the number one concern in the economy, and how do we slow that down? It's going to be inflation, right? Well, what's our hedge for inflation? Gold, right? It's not time to buy gold yet, right? You got to wait till we've come through this coronavirus. We're at the top of that V, keeping the curve down, whatever it is. So again, there's a lot of different things out there. Yeah, alcohol stocks are hot right now because people are going crazy. They want alcohol. In Maryland, they actually said, hey, listen, we're closing down malls, all entertainment revenue or venues. Carryouts are okay, restaurants are bad, but you can do delivery or take out alcohol now. And I think he realized that there will be riots if they shut down the liquor stores in the state of Maryland. As I said, guys, as I said, get the copper piping, get on Netflix, watch Moonshiner reruns, and you guys can corner the market in your local areas. Stay out of Maryland. That is mine. But you can trade moonshine for toilet paper and bullets because guns are really good right now too. Guns are good too. All right, so let me pop back over to and finish off the pound. Basically, you know, again, we weren't on pound yen. We were sitting over here. Again, pound New Zealand's going to be too much. Pound Swiss, we didn't go through that. Let's go up to daily. Again, same retracement. Spreads high. It's over 5 to 6. It's going to be an area. So we do have on the 4-hour, we do have a zone up top that we talked about. We had a little zone here that we mentioned last night at the top of this. It did hit it. It did push all the way back down again. So this is one that I did mention last night. I don't know if anybody got this one. Got super close. This one right here got front run though. Okay, you guys see this one? Let me see if I can zoom in. Let me go to 30 minutes. A little bit better. This is why we also pay attention to these pairs. Look at this. Got front run, came all the way down, hit a profit target, came up and blew through it. So did not get an entry on this one last night, guys. Remember, if the price gets close to your area, turns and runs away from it and hits a profit target, it's already left without you. Trade's over. There's nothing you can do about that one. Pound Swiss was the the pair that did that last night. Now, on the 4-hour, I do like this zone up here. Okay, we are about 200 pips from it. Okay, that's over what the ATR is right now, even though the ATR is shrinking. I don't think we can get to it tomorrow, but keep this on your radar. Set an alert for somewhere around the 115, the 116 area is fine. That puts you right here. This is a pretty big drop. Now, it did spend a lot of time. It's probably only a B minus zone, but I like the drop. I like the drop. Okay, so that one is not bad for that. Pound New Zealand, again, we're going to stay out of Pound New Zealand. It's a bit too crazy. The 5-minute ATR for Pound New Zealand right now is 53 pips. So yes, it's moving, 10 pips every minute. Actually, we can do actually on the minute right now, it's 27 pips on the 1 minute. So yeah, again, not something you necessarily want to be. And you'll be chopped up. The spread on that one is pretty high too. Yeah, it's a 9-pip spread, so you don't want to mess with that. Look at the New Zealand pairs. Anyone checked on cannabis stocks? Yeah, cannabis stocks are, hey, natural healing, baby. Natural healing. All right, guys. So on the daily, again, the nice turnaround. New Zealand, it's going to be the same thing. I'm not going to take a lot of time to analyze them tonight because I don't want to go too late tonight. New Zealand's the same situation right now. New Zealand dollar, you guys can see that we're putting levels in. Again, we do have an area down here. I actually do like the way that this one formed. It was very quick. It was only one candle reversal at the bottom. The zone is not gigantic. Again, relative, right? Relative. It's 50 pips, but it does give us a good valid bottom that we can put in. If prices, for some reason, turns and we open around in this area tomorrow or on Sunday, again, this will be another long. So again, New Zealand dollar, I'm okay with. New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen is a little bit more confusing. Again, you guys can see this. Look at the ATR. The ATR spiked all the way up. Again, on average, we're sitting over here at 57, and now we're up here at 218. So we're 4 times the ATR in this pair. And again, a lot of indecision yesterday, up, down, left, right, sideways, wicked all over the place. Again, European session, US session, and then halted. So that zone up top here, I think, is still valid. Taking this up at 66 to 66.50, I think is still a valid short. It's actually kind of right near the gap as well. And again, that's this upper level here. I actually like it on the 4-hour better. I just like the way that it's formed. If we can get a rally tomorrow, again, Sunday night, there could be a potential short in here. But the biggest problem with this one on Sunday night is going to be the spread. It's 4 right now. You got to make sure you get it for, under basically 6 on Sunday. That's going to be the major problem with this Aussie pair. I'm sorry, this New Zealand pair. Going into dollars. All right, so dollars. Dollar yen is up 104. We'll do dollar CAD next. Dollar yen on the daily, you guys can see we are very high. We got so close to the daily zone and we turned and flipped on us. Okay, so got front run on our dollar entry here. On the 4-hour, you can see again we missed the kind of the top section up here. It's an okay area. Again, it's better looking, but unfortunately, a lot of the candles down here kind of mess the analysis up. For me on this one, I do feel that this one is actually going to start ticking back to the downside. Looking at it over here, again, you can see a big push, a big turn. So, I mean, there was definitely some sellers that stepped into this in the last 2 hours that started to push this back down again. I expect we'll get a little bit of a pullback. The question is, from that pullback, will it try to push higher or will it stall out and then start to push to the downside? For me, I think we got to target back down here to this 106 level. I don't know how quick we can get there. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow. But as you guys can see here, it did go off a little tiny 30-minute level. I mean, it was small. I mean, it is a tiny level that it bounced off of. But since that time, it's been straight down. Okay. And when I say small, let's see. It is, yeah, you're talking about 12 pips. Normally, we'd like a 12 pip zone. Right now, I mean, the ATR here is about 30. So it's a bit crazy, but you guys can see where it turned. I do think that we will have a target over here. Again, you can take this thing into some type of a continuation trade to the downside, but I mean, even right now in the 15-minute, we have not had a pullback yet. So get that pullback and then get in there and be able to take this one shorter. Not quite there. And again, you guys know how we've been playing this one. This one, wait till we see where levels are formed in the morning. Let the Europeans bounce the dollar around where they want to bounce it around, and then take this one and start trading this when U.S. traders get into the market. Okay, that's been the best way to play the dollar again this last week. Dollar Swiss. Okay, dollar Swiss. Also high on the curve. Again, we're rallying all the way back up again. I was hoping we get up. It looks like it turned ahead of time. It looks like we got front run on this one. You can see on the 4-hour, same situation. It popped. It literally stalled, went up, and then boom, it's starting to collapse now. Now, this is a potential retracement candidate. It did go up very, very fast in a 12-hour period of time. Ideally, as you guys know from the strategy, we like for it to get all the way up to, obviously, a zone, right? Whether it be supply or demand. It didn't quite make it, right? On an hourly, you can see it's been so long since price was up here. We got nothing except level, 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 level. Again, your profit targets for a short would be down here. And then again, your 30-minute, you guys can see it's marking a bit of a zone there, but don't necessarily like it. For me, overnight, I'm pretty sure that this is going to come back down and kind of test this level. The level's formed okay, but it's a bit big. I think this one will peter out. We've had a couple days in a row where this has been really straight up. I mean, guys, look at it here. I mean, it's been multiple days. What, 1, 2, 3, 3 days straight up without a bit of a retracement. I think this will probably start to kind of come over and level, and we'll probably end the week here. I'm going to look at this in the morning, but I'm probably not going to put too much stock into that one whatsoever. Now, dollar CAD. We've had this just amazing ascent all the way up into the 146 range. It is now turning and collapsing back down again. Again, dollar CAD is down 225 pips in the last 24 hours. So you can see that this has definitely put some work in from its high. We're back down to 144. Again, it is pushing lower. And I mentioned this before. We didn't really necessarily have any place to enter it. It was just going too high. There was nothing up there. And what we were doing is we were looking for areas of entry. So as you can see, I marked this off that there's a little bit of a zone up here. You can kind of see it on some of the, kind of here, but it's not the best, right? Here's where we are now, right? Here's where we were last night, right here, okay? And I said, it's kind of rolling over it. It's kind of giving us a level. It kind of pushed us away, but getting an entry into that would have been a bit difficult, unfortunately. And then literally it just popped down and it hasn't done much. So even on the 15-minute, you can see it. Kind of hard to get into that one, right? Not really the best of zones to get in. I feel that this one is going to come back down. I think tomorrow we're going to be back down in this probably 142. I don't know. It's about a 60 pip ATR. 60 pips is only sitting right here on an hourly basis. I really feel like we could probably get down to here. I don't know if we're going to do it all in one day though. But for me, if you guys get short this position again and get a good entry, you need to have your target around 142. I don't know. We'll see what the CAD number is in the morning. If the CAD number is really bad, again, this could be turning around and spiking right back up again. As I said, with the coronavirus and the way the news releases, if you have no news releases, it's been better. It's kind of like the ignorance is bliss, no news is good news. CAD's going to step into the spotlight tomorrow with that retail sales. And it's already forecast. Here is the kind of forecast for tomorrow. You guys will see it's forecast. Again, the previous was 5. It's been low, but they've been missing numbers, right? A lot of these forecasts have been wrong. So if this is even more wrong tomorrow, say this is negative 0.1, right? This is going to pop. We're going to get a pop. So for those of you that know the strategy, again, if you attended the webinar today, you heard me talk about the news breakout trades for Nadex. This would be a potential news breakout trade tomorrow morning with as much volatility as there is. Obviously, the spread's going to be a bit more. But if you can find something that makes sense in the morning, if the volatility stays a little bit hidden because it's still at 8:30 in the morning, there may be a news breakout in this one, top or bottom. But if I had to pick a direction on this one, I don't think core retail sales is going to be better than expected. Even though they have it forecast low, I think even if it comes in slightly higher, people are going to be like, it's temporary. It's going to get bad anyway. But if it's worse than expected, then I think the market will react. And again, I think there'll be more of I think there's more of a chance it's going to pop up than it will come back down again. Now, with that being said, if price does rally down and we're sitting in this range before tomorrow, then yeah, I'm going to be looking for this thing to pop based off of technical reasons, not just the news. So I think dollar CAD is a good trade setup for tomorrow morning. Definitely check this out. Look on the lower time frames. Again, you can get a little bit kind of more dialed in here, but even really that zone wouldn't be horrible. But let's see. Yeah, anywhere down in here. I think, again, this is going to be an hourly level, maybe in this level. So if we have pushed all the way down here in the overnight, I'd be looking to go long this tomorrow morning. Okay, I'm kind of excited about that one actually. Dollar Singapore, again, this is more of a technical based one, but you guys can see where we're at. We actually did spike through and then pulled all the way back and have stopped. Okay, so we're at that level again, looking for this one to kind of retrace. Again, we've had so much dollar strength. We'll see. I think if we have a big release of news tomorrow, or if I guess if it's not as big as expected, we will probably start to see a retracement in this one. We're kind of due. And again, looking at the overlay, you see there's nothing. Here we're approaching the backside of that monthly number. So, but again, not many people are trading that one right now because of the volatility. So, let's go into the fun pair. So, first things first. Here's crude oil. So, here's the 30-minute, guys. What was the giveaway yesterday? Let's go back over to the actual contest. Okay, so it looks like we only got 4 people. Only 4 people were, I don't know, brave enough. Only 4 people were brave enough to get into this trade. So the question was, will oil break $20 on Tuesday? Will it be above? Right? 2 people bet that it was over. 2 people bet that it was under. So who were the winners overall today? Over, under. Over, under. Here's the $20 mark right down here. It's green. So obviously we did not touch $20. So it is over. All right. So the over side wins this one. All right. So with that being said, I will pick the winner as over so you guys can watch it. And there you go. You guys would have got your pip chips just from that. All right. Look at that. They got 40% of the pot. They had 50% of the bets and they got 40% of the total pot. So all the money went to them. They each got 40% of the pot. Okay. All right. So that was fun. We'll have to do that again next week with something else. But hopefully more than 2 of you guys is confident enough. You big old wimps. They're only pip chips, guys. I give them out for free. Yeah. You guys are always scared on that one. You're like, I don't know. Do I pick up? Do I pick down? Do I pick up? So that one, you guys, I ended up getting, I think, 25 pip chips a piece. Yeah, the current fund, yeah. Because there was, I think, 2 people on that side. Yeah, so you each got 25 pip chips for winning that one. Wait, what? And do that again. We bet it. No, it would not break. No, it was above and below, James. Would it go above or would it go below? Yes, it would not break 20. Correct. Right. Would it be? Yeah. Look. Will it break $20? Will it be over or will it be under $20? Look. Yes, it will break 20. No, it will not break 20. Meaning over, under. That's why I have over and under here, so it was clear. Did you guys confuse it? Were you guys confused? I'm gonna have to make it even easier next time if you were confused. I guess I can see what you're saying. Like, will it break it going below? But then it wouldn't be hashtag over. See, James, I know you're tasting the shine. That's what it is. You're doing too many samples, buddy. But that's why it was That's why it was the bet over, bet under. See, I'll make it easier for you guys next time. Just do stay above or stay below. All right. Who picked under? Who won? I believe Ernest won. And Will's too chicken to go into these contests. Will is very risk adverse when it comes to contests because it's like gambling. You forgot to enter. Oh, James, you said no, it would not break it. Okay, it did not break it. Whatever you guys picked, I don't choose this one. This one does it automatically for you guys. All right, so with that being said, there was our oil retracement. There's our $20 figure. So looking on the daily, guys, look at this. This thing is actually pulled back quite well. We've had 2 days in a row that have been green. We're back up to $26. We were sitting there. We were flirting with 20. It got super, super close. And now we're back up to 26, just like that. Now, it doesn't mean in one day it can't drop $6, $7 and fall all the way back down again. Looking at it on the 4 hour, there's not too much sitting there. And on the hourly, it's kind of the same thing, right? We got some room. There's a little bit of a spike today. It did pull back down again. Really nothing clear until we get up into this gap area. Looking at the 30-minute, kind of the same idea. I mean, there wasn't really many strong levels. I mean, there's small ones, right? There was a small level here, a small level here, and there's an okay level, and it did pull back. Like I think, did it mark that one off? No, it didn't mark that one off. This one was marked, right? And again, we saw it collapse back down again. This little one here wasn't. Again, I think we marked that off last night. Again, that we hit and then pulled back down again. And again, these zones have been, crunching through one at a time. So again, yeah, we hit and it pulled back down. Kind of made sense where it turned there. This little one here, again, I think I mentioned that this was not a great level, that we would not have looked at that one. So again, the next one we're really looking for is really up top here, all right? Sitting up here at what, 29, 21 is kind of the next level up top, about $3 from where we are right now. I don't know. I don't know if this one will make $3 on a Friday. I don't know. I mean, now that we have the information about, the U.S. is going to potentially step in and help the Saudis and Russians, I don't know, maybe. It's possible. Maybe. Again, 15-minute, you're sitting here. So, I mean, if anything, I have to say, listen, we put in some levels low. Again, obviously, in the 15-minute charts are going to be weird to use because this is all kind of after hours. This is what we're looking for during the day. Yeah. I mean, again, we can get a nice little rally. I'd be looking to take that short. But if anything, again, keep that on your radar. If we get some type of an open up into that zone, what this could do is this could be a nice bullish time here, and then the weekend could happen and people could get angry at each other again, and then we could open in that level, and then again look to take this back to short to the downside. So again, right now I wouldn't take anything overnight. I don't think there's anything great. Some small levels, but this big wick is going to kind of mess up the analysis to the top side. So more of the story, you just can't beat Ernest, even if you do. I don't know. I feel like Ernest just knows how to decipher when I'm answering, asking questions. Maybe that's what it is. But next time I will be super clear and I'll ask you guys questions to make sure that there is absolutely no doubt what I'm talking about. But that's why I did the over and the under, to make it easy. But obviously, it was not easy enough. All right, so there's oil. Let's look at gold. All right, so there's gold. Gold has not rallied back up again. All right, it is still flaunting down here. It had a little bit of an update, but again, we've been pushing down. It's trying to get lower. Again, that inflation risk. With the markets collapsing, inflation is not a risk. So that's kind of why we've seen gold just literally do this tank and drop to the downside. On the 4-hour, you can see really not clear of any type of trend. I mean, it's grinding lower, but it's also having some problems down here. On the 1-hour, you can see, again, let me reset that. You'll kind of see it, but there's the 1-hour zone that we kind of saw things, and I think I mentioned this last night because I think it's been there a while. Let's see. Yeah, here's where we were last night, all the way up top. I mentioned it's not a bad zone, and again, we did hit that zone today, actually a couple hours ago, and did rally back off of it. It was not. We have not hit a 1 to 3. A 1 to 3 is actually sitting a bit higher. Up here at 1494. It does look like it wants to push, though. It's kind of flaunting with that area a little bit. So, yeah, at this point, you're up 2 to 1 in this position had you taken it. Again, make sure that you guys have, basically locked in some profit at this point. You don't, no point risking this much to go for this much, right? That's stupid. So make sure you have something banked on this one already. Don't let this one kind of come back and get you in the overnight. At this point, I'm gonna have to say I'm still bearish gold. I know it was a bit, we had a bit of a, bit of an up day, right? We got a little bit green in the last 4 hours, but looking at this again, we're seeing this, this kind of these lower highs coming in, and this was obviously higher, and it came down again and got front run again, and then again, but now it drove deep into that zone. So big question is how much of this zone is left and what's below it. And I don't really see too much on an hourly, and on the 4-hour, we got a lot of room before we got a zone here. So if anything, I have to say going into tomorrow, I would have to be more bearish, minded. Drop into a 30-minute. You guys can see right after that 1 to 3. And again, I know we talked about it because we had that up, but we got a zone sitting right here. And again, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So there are sellers stacking right where this 1 to 3 is. And with this zone being pierced all the way down to this level, I'm gonna have to say I'm a bit bearish. I mean, if this comes a little bit higher to grab those orders, yeah, I can see that happening. But tomorrow, I could see this definitely closing back down in this range. So again, keep that on the radar. Now, silver. Okay, here's the silver. Silver's had a little bit of a pullback, but you guys can see there's just no demand whatsoever in view here. Looking at the 4-hour, kind of the same thing. You're not able to see it. Again, not really even trending. Like I feel like people are so focused. I mean, here's the 1-hour, right? People are so focused on gold. It's like, oh my God, what's happening with inflation? I feel like they've forgotten about silver. We didn't break 10. We're down at 1234 right now. But I mean, dropping this to some lower time frames here. I can stretch it out. Let's make it look really, really good. We're kind of at a zone right now, not really the best zone, right? I mean, if gold and silver both rally a little bit, that puts gold in that selling zone as well as it puts silver in that selling zone. This is a really, really messy zone. I don't think I would trade much off of that. This is better. This is better. And again, look at that. A little bit of a run up. Both these things are sitting in supply zones if they run up just a little tiny bit. So kind of showing me that, they look like they have similar kind of setups. And it's an okay zone. It's an okay zone. I wouldn't say this is like an A plus. Definitely trade it. But again, being similar on two different pairs, kind of signalized to me that this is looking for a little bit of overnight up, and then potentially down tomorrow. We'll see. And again, tomorrow morning, I am expecting that we are going to get another report, and there's going to be another explosion. It's going to be a big percentage of increase of cases. But again, a lot of that is because now we have test kits out there, and you can actually test it. So, I think that's why a lot of people are staying calm, because it's like, hey, listen, the reason why the cases are exploding is not because more people are getting sick. It's because we know that people are sick now because we have the tests. So again, positiveness overnight, and then all of a sudden the media steps in tomorrow morning and right back down again. All right, so look at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ, guys, again, we had that little pop off this earlier today, right? There was this little position here that about in the overnight, right? Again, this would have hit about midnight for you guys. We ended up coming back down and grabbing this after chart school. For the day, you guys can see again, this one is chopping back and forth, but at least it's kind of stabilized, right? It's not a free fall anymore. Now we're kind of going back and forth. The candles are definitely getting smaller, right? Definitely getting smaller. On the 4-hour, you can see again, it feels like we put in a bottom here, right? Again, quite a large range still, but it is at least slowing down and going back and forth. It's not a free fall like we had before. On an hourly, you can see again, we keep kind of bouncing. It looks like we're kind of in an equidistant channel, something along the lines of this, right? Something along the lines of bouncing back and forth. And again, when you draw it this way, you can say, that's interesting, right? Up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. So, it is staying somewhat within that range. There was a gap just slightly higher than where we are, and you can see it touched that. On the 30-minute, again, you guys can see it did come up and touch. It touched it here again, and we've just kind of come up and really touched it the third time. But the indicator has now at least put in kind of a high here. So, this could be kind of a similar situation. Again, I would not use this blue. I would still use the gray, which is the lower area. But at this point, I would kind of have these two things bracketed off. I would have this level here looking for shorts, and I would have this level here looking for potential longs. And again, what I'm seeing over the last 24 hours is those are two good zones, top and bottom. Again, this top area, obviously looking to the left, you can see that there's a zone a bit higher, a touched here, formed a new level. And then, again, the reason it's painting it here not all the way back is because it's overlapping. Yeah, it didn't mark it, but technically this is where the zone started, right? Yeah, the zone here, right? And you could actually draw a zone lower, right? In that area. Okay. But that's where the current zone is now listed. All right, so I would use top and bottom here. Again, find it on your chart, but this level is around what, 74.27, right? 74.27 is kind of that range up top. I would not use this small zone. I would go to the farther end, and if you're aggressive, you can use the green. If you want to be a bit more conservative, use the gray, which is at 69.04. Looking at the Dow. All right, so the Dow, again, this was actually a day of indecision. It was up, it was down, and the open and close was not that far apart. Okay, on the 4-hour, you can see we had a zone drawn up there, and price got close, but it obviously got front run. We didn't quite make it all the way up. So last night we established two different zones. So this is the hourly, right? Here's where we are now. And then last night we were right here. Okay, price is right here. And what we mentioned is that there was one zone. Here was your first entry. Price came all the way down to hit your profit targets, came all the way back up. Now, it actually did not make it back up to the zone. It went that far. Okay, so what it did was it took the aggressive entry in this one, not the conservative entry, and ended up going back down and completing both profit targets. So I'll remove the red candles from here, because again, that was the first trade setup that we talked about. And here was the second one. So you ended up hitting your 1 to 3, and your 1 to 5 was kind of glazed over. It looks like it didn't hit it, but your 1 to 3 got hit within a matter of 3 hours. So again, there was definitely an entry into that one. You didn't even get close to getting stopped out. It was 2030. What is it? 23.49, and then your target would have been the 19.839 or 838 in there. Don't know that I would use that zone again, and here's why. Okay, the original zone was formed here, and you had a touch here, you had a touch here, and then you had a touch here. It's a bit more aggressive. It is a bit lower, But again, this is you're making a zone of a zone, and it actually tagged it about 3 times inside of that area. So I'll drop it down to the lower time frame. You can see, there was its formation. Actually, it was formed from here, but there's one hit, there's 2 hit, and then there's 3 hits. So it has hit it multiple times. I don't know that it will hold again. In the overnight, again, when there's different types of volume, it could definitely just rally right past that one. I don't feel like we will have that much opportunity. So for me, again, I'm going to delete that now. I still think we're good up top. The way that it looks, it does look like it wants to have a green day. It would be very interesting after the week that they've had, ending on a green. Again, we've seen this many times that they always want to end Friday on a green. It looks like we have a potential to do that based off of the lows getting higher and higher and higher. So we'll see what it's able to kind of we'll see what it's able to accomplish. And again, on the 30-minute, there was a position here earlier today. If you guys took this one at about 9:30 this morning, price came down, tagged it. I think I posted this one in the forum. There was your trade setup this morning at 9:30 a.m. Again, it was an overnight level. It was formed overnight, but it was midnight, right? Midnight my time. As you guys can see, tagged, came up, and you were out by 10 o'clock in the morning based off that market open. Literally spiked down, grabbed it, and then came all the way up. And that ended up going to the 1 to 5 before turning. So not a bad one on the 30-minute. Like I said, these 30-minute levels have been great lately. If you're not trading them, you need to switch and start looking at them. Okay. Looking at the S&P. S&P was kind of like, Again, we're still bouncing off that daily zone. Again, it looks like it's starting to get, it's trying to get some power, try to make another attempt today to get down there and do it. The 4-hour, really not that impressive, right? I mean, this is, there's your 4-hour window. It's kind of like, it's all right, but no real clear intent of where it wants to trade. The hourly has us bouncing off of tops and bottoms again. Again, similar pattern, kind of forming things sideways. 30-minute, not marking those zones as well. So, this one is definitely more of an hourly position. It gets a bit uglier when you get over here. And again, it's just not drawing the zones. It could have drawn this zone here. It could have drawn this zone here. So still some entries. And again, here's that 9:30 this morning. This spike down. Again, this one missed by just a tiny, tiny bit. So if you're more of an ES trader, you missed this one by just the slightest of margins. Where the Dow triggered, the S&P did not. Okay. All right, guys, so that's it for the currency pairs. Or the currency pairs, oil, gold, silver, and the indices. Like I said, for me, what I'm most excited about tomorrow morning is the potential for the Canadian dollar trade. I think that gives us a great opportunity tomorrow morning. With this being really the only, kind of major news release kind of planned, there's some minor things, current accounts, public sector borrowing, consumer inflation, which nobody cares about inflation right now, and existing home sales. Kind of like, I mean, the boy's mom is she's like trying to sell her house right now. She's like, oh, it's a great market right now to sell. I was like, I don't know. The last couple times we had one good one in January, but December was down, November was down. I don't see many people wanting to move right now. I don't know. I just, we'll see. We'll see. I just don't think that, but again, it's not going to necessarily move the overall market. It's going to be this, and then it's going to be whatever news releases that we have tomorrow. All right. Oh God, negative. They're starting to get crazy on us. All right. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and do the giveaway for tonight. And that will be the end of the week. All right. So let's go back. Giveaways. All right. 7 of you guys are currently in. I know you guys like to snipe this one. Oh, look at James. Look at. Oh, no. Ernest is right here. I was like, look at Ernest trying to mix it up a little bit tonight. Ernest has a strategy. It's like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, he has to be the last one in. But on Friday or on Thursday nights, he kind of mixes it up. Josh is in here a little bit late today. James is in last right now. Q's not in here again. He's slacking on me. Will's always first. Will's strategy works sometimes. Sean, are you in here yet? Nope. Oh, yeah, Sean's in there as well, which is 1 ticket. So I will give you guys about 40 seconds. When it says 1:44, I will go ahead and shut it down. But if you guys are brand new to the channel, go ahead and make sure you guys do ! ticket. As I said, again, what you can do is you can accumulate something called pip chips. Pip chips can be used for indicator purchases. They can be used for mentoring time as well. And again, if you want to go stock by stock with your favorite stocks, again, more than willing to do that inside of mentor time. Okay. Let's see. 10 seconds more. There we go. Sean got in with 2. James got in with 2. James is like, I'm going to try this strategy. I'm going to do it. All right. So there we go. And full Rick got in. All right. There we go. I said at 1:44. Now, last night, who was the winner? It was Q. Did you miss? Seriously? Oh, wow, Q. I said 1:44. Like, gave it 2 extra seconds. And you tried to snipe it, didn't even get in. Who won it last night? I think last night it was it Sean last night? Dude. Oh no. Q, you won last night, right? I think Q won last night. So yeah, so you dozed off and you ended up winning it last night, I think. But you would have got your 100 pip chips. It's always Ernest. All right. No, yeah, it was you, yeah. Oh no, wasn't you? Yeah, okay, it was Sean. It was Sean. Okay, so again, if Sean wins tonight, that is a 100 pip chip win, right? Because that is 2 in a row. All right, I'm gonna start looking before I put this on. So, winner of tonight is, let me make sure you guys can see it. Just so there's no question, draw the winner, and the winner is Ernest. I told you guys, he's got a strategy. On 2 nights a week, he has to be last. On other nights, he mix it up. I'm telling you, he's writing this stuff down, guys. He's writing this stuff down. He's got a method. He's got a method to this madness. Will's like, I don't like seeing that up there. I know, Will. I still got to change it. Although Will, he is probably getting pretty close because it looks like he's 200 pips or 200 pip chips up on you now. And I think in the other one you were up like 125 or 130 or something like that. So it's got to be close. It's rigged. I love it. If I didn't win, it's rigged. Take that, Will. I don't know. I just feel like for Will, I'm gonna have to make sure I add it up. Like I said, I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and I just keep getting just so bogged down during the day lately. It's just been crazy. But I don't have the boys tomorrow, so hopefully I can get it. Will's like, I was at 4,760. I mean, I had the recording, so I can look to see exactly what you were at. I've won in 6 months. Yeah, right. Another 2 months from now, and I'll win again. Yeah, mate. Well, hey, you know what? If you don't play the game, you can't win. So you got to do less sleeping, buddy. Less sleeping. All right, guys. You take care. Like I said, tomorrow morning, watch out for Cat. If you guys need me, I'll be on Discord. With that being said, guys, have a good trading day tomorrow. Look for the newsletter to come out on Sunday night. And remember, guys, too, don't forget, the newsletter right now is currently, it's not set up on subscription. It's you, when you purchase it for $10, you get it for 1 month. It doesn't auto resubscribe you again, so you do have to go back and redo it. There is a way that I can do it, but I'm trying to change processors to make it even easier, but it's not quite there yet. So you do have to buy it again each month. All right, so you guys take care, and I will catch you tomorrow.